We're looking for spies, and she's like, hello, I'm very good spy.
Literally a f***ing spy.
Absolutely, you could be a spy. You go down there and do what the you do.
My name is Lucius Dillon. Today we're going to talk about Roald Dahl and his life as a British spy. World War II, Roald Dahl was a fighter pilot for the RAF, the Royal Air Force. And he loved fighting them Nazis. And he's like, oh, this is great. And so he had to go and fly to a base in the desert. He ran out of gas, he hit the ground at 75 miles an hour, cracked his skull. He had to drag himself out of the plane before the gas tanks exploded. So he pretty much was like invalided out of the Royal Air Force. But then a famous author, C.S. Forester, wanted to interview him about his crash. Dahl was like, okay, you know what? My mind's a little spotty. Let me just write down some notes for you. Forrester's like, okay, send it to me later. So Dahl sat down to kind of write it, and his mind was kind of muddled because he went through a crash. But he wrote like a really good story, sent it to Forrester, and Forrester wrote back, it's like, okay, look, you're supposed to give me notes, not write a full story. This is great. This is amazing. I'm not changing a word. I'm sending this straight to the Saturday Evening Post. So that got sent, and it was actually really popular. And he realized, like, okay, I can tear a pretty good yarn, or I don't know if that's the right term, but I can write a pretty good story. See, you gotta tickle it. You gotta know.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, he was the talk of the town, and so he was invited to a lot of these parties. He met up with a really cool guy called Bill Stevenson, and Bill Stevenson is like, hey, what's going on with you? Dahl's just like, I want to help out England. I didn't bust my nut enough in England. Oh, I still didn't do enough. Stevenson was like, well, you know, there is other stuff you can do. So Dahl was hired into a dark propaganda section referred to as the BSC, which stands for the British Security Council. A lot of other people were hired. Noel Coward, who was a famous playwright and actor, and also Ian Fleming, who some people might know as James motherfucking Bond. Stevenson was like, let's put you into some good political parties and meet everyone you can and report everything back to us. He was like, okay. So here's Roald Dahl, tall, handsome motherfucker, long ass face, eloquent ass tongue. But every time when he was at the party, like he'd be eavesdropping on newspaper people, politicians, and then secretly just like scribbling, you know, little things on like napkins and reporting it to England. He would also get into finding information through pillow talk. He had a list of ladies that he would go through. Like Sissy Patterson had her claws into the Washington Herald Times. And she's like, you want to see the bourgeois? And he's like,
yes, please.
So he the shit out of her for a while and got whatever information that he could. Then he went to Evelyn McLean. She knew every politician in the world, so they a lot. So he met Claire Booth Luce. She was a congresswoman, and they and he got so much information through so much of his dick. But after a while, and this is an exact quote, like he called Ambassador Halifax and was like, look, I am out, okay? This goddamn woman has me from one end of the room to the other. I'm done. I can't do it. I am squirting dust. And Ambassador's like, just close your eyes and think of England. And Dahl's like, great, okay, yes I will.
Get your chin
neck
off.
No, it's
your chin off my neck.
No, that wasn't. My chin wasn't on you at all.
I feel like we're laying on two Muppets.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. Is this your death scene? If you die on the show, we're
Okay, so FDR was in his third term. Britain was like, okay, he's getting old. We are worried that he's gonna die because he's our biggest supporter right now. You need to let us know everything that's wrong with him. And he's like, yeah, I'll be right over. And now, I'm here right now. And so, luckily, Eleanor Roosevelt was like, hey, I'm a big fan of yours, so meet my husband. And he's like, oh yeah, nice to meet you, FDR. Nice to meet you too, Roald Dahl. And they have a lovely time. They drink a lot. So he took note of everything, wrote it all in a 12-page document, and it worked out very well. Until FDR died, and then the war ended. And Dahl's life as a spy was over. He was like, what can I do now? He's like, well, I need to make a buck, so let me just go for the easy money and I'll just write some children's novels. That'll be great. So he wrote James and the Giant Peach, which was amazing. And then in the same year, he wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which holy was the best. He wrote Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, wrote The Witches, wrote The BFG, wrote Fantastic Mr. Fox. He's hands down, Dr. Seuss, the greatest children's author of all time. And he was a spy, literally a spy. And because of his dick, England was a better place. I enjoyed day drinking. I enjoyed drinking with you.
Day drinking?
Hello, I'm Claudia O'Doherty, and today we're going to be talking about Virginia Hall, who was a very good spy. So in 1906 in Baltimore, Virginia Hall was born, and she's like, I love Europe. Maybe I should get a job for the Foreign Service. I'm very qualified for that kind of thing because I'm so smart and good at languages. And then she takes the entrance exam for the Foreign Service. But she fails because it's a very hard exam. She was very sad when she got the results. She was like, oh man. But she said, you know what? I need to blow off some steam. And then she decided to go to Europe, and she's having a good time. When she was in Turkey in 1933, though, she was like, hey friends, let's go on a hunting trip. And they're just having a very good time shooting all the animals. And then she's like, I'll just climb over this wall or a fence. I'll just climb over this fence. And she's climbing over, her legs gets caught, and she shot her left foot off. Ow. And she gets fitted with a custom prosthetic leg. And she called her leg Cuthbert.
Cuthbert?
Cuthbert.
Cuthbert.
That's what she calls it. And then what happens? World War II. And she's like, not cool. But anyway, I know what I'll do. I'll sign up to be an ambulance driver for the ambulance corps. That's a very dangerous job in Paris in 1939. And she is like, I don't even care. So then she goes to London. She goes to a dinner party, and the dinner party's in a bomb shelter during an air raid. So she's having a good time at the dinner party, and she meets this woman named Vera Atkins, who is like, ooh, this woman could be of use to us. So she says to Virginia, by the way, I work for SOE, Secret Operations Executive. It's a British spy gang. And she brings in this big, handsome French guy, and he says, would you like to be a spy for us? And Virginia is like, yes, that would be incredible. So she goes back to France and she assumes a new identity, and she's just like a really nice journalist, but actually she's organizing the French resistance. So she is supplying weapons, supplying money, organizing guys. She's also organizing escapes from prison camps. She is just causing such trouble for the Germans. And they're hearing rumors about this woman who was organizing the French resistance, and they didn't know who she was, but they knew that she had a limp, which was embarrassing for Virginia because she didn't think she did have a limp. So that's a very sad part of the story, right? And the head of the Gestapo is Klaus Barbie, who is also known as the Butcher of Lyon. And he's like, what I wouldn't give to get my hands on the neck of that bitch.
It's a bitch.
Yeah. But he was a bad guy, so he used terrible language. So everybody's looking for her now. There are wanted posters everywhere with her likeness on them. They're like, look out for this limping lady. And she's like, excuse me, I don't even limp, but she probably... Anyway, so she's like, how am I gonna get out? I can't go through any of the checkpoints. So because she's got no other option, she hikes over the snowy Pyrenees Mountains with one leg, and she gets out of there. But then, who's entered the war? The Americans. And they're like, we're looking for spies. And she's like, hello, I'm a very good spy. And they're like, great. But you're gonna need a really good disguise. And so she dyed her hair gray, put on 2 skirts and 2 sweaters, and she had her fillings changed. So she had French fillings rather than American fillings.
She looks like Miss Doubtfire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also she shuffled, so she didn't have a limp anymore. So then she goes back into France, and she's just delivering cheese everywhere. But actually, she is wreaking havoc. She's blowing up bridges, blowing up train lines, cutting telephone lines. But it's very dangerous. The whole time the Germans are looking for her. And then the war ended.
It's kind of good.
So that was good. So then Truman is like, I'm gonna give you a medal, and it is called the Distinguished Services Cross. So she gets the award and she goes, you know what I'd like to do now? I'd like to finally join the Foreign Service like I've always wanted. And they're like, budgetary cutbacks. You can't be in the Foreign Service. But we've got this new organization. Would you mind joining that? And that turned out to be the CIA. And so she's the first woman to ever be recognized as a member of the CIA's career staff. So Virginia Hall was a true legend, and she didn't let anybody tell her what she could and couldn't do. Not bad for a girl from Baltimore.
Hi, my name is Crystal, and today we're gonna talk about the Civil War spy, Harriet Tubman. So, Harriet Tubman does not get her just due. Like, you hear her name or you think she led the slaves to freedom, but you most certainly do not know that she was a spy for the Union. So the thing was, when the Civil War started, Harriet Tubman was like, wait a minute, I can do way more. So she went down there to Port Royal, which is in South Carolina, and the Union had like taken it over, but it was still like not smothered and covered. That's like biscuits. It was surrounded by Confederacy, like places and shit. And at first she's just like a regular ass person. She was a nurse. And that's when she was like, I know I can do better than this. Like, I know I can free way more slaves than what you guys are doing right now. And that's when she went to the colonel and was like, I could totally be a spy for you. I have connects. Like, when I dress up and shit, those people have no idea who I am. And the colonel was like, excuse me, I got like a good 15 minutes left in me before the liquor takes over, and God only knows what I'll say.
That's great.
And so then the colonel was like, yeah, obviously my white ass can't go down there. Absolutely, you could be a spy. You go down there and do what the you do. So she was like, okay, let me put on my field hand clothes. And she was like 5 feet tall, so it was very easy for her to like blend into the background. And she is able to like go to the plantations, and she was like, hey guys, like, not to stir up any shit or whatever, but like, I know y'all are tired of being slaves. I was totally tired of being a slave. And none of us have to be slaves anymore. So like, whoever's down to help the Union, just let me know. So everybody was like, cool. And then she would go out. She had these friends who are mariners, which are basically just like people who work in the water, like with water shit. She's like, I know there are mines out here, so let's work together and find out where this shit is, because I'm a spy and I'm gonna get this shit. Like, I'm gonna burn this shit down. And so then she went back to the colonel and she was like, I have this idea to burn up all the plantations. Here's all my research and you should just let me do it. And the colonel was like, well, f it, like, I don't have shit to lose. Like, let's work together and burn that shit down. And so they got together and she was like, listen, this is about to be, like, I'm not even about to bullshit you. This is about to be some bullshit. Like, this is about to be like a real stealth operation. You motherfuckers have never seen no shit like this before. Like, I got some dope ass shit planned out. But I need y'all to all be down and just do what the I say. I got this shit. And in June 1st, 1863, yes. On 1863, they begin this raid. So Harriet Tubman is like on the Combahee River and shit. She was like, I'm down for this shit. Like, I'm ready. And so when the raid started, like, she knew where the mines and shit were in the water. She and her team of mariners were able to be like, oh, that. Like, we're not gonna get caught by you stupid ass traps, you slave owners. And then the owners of the plantation, these crazy ass racist white people, would see all these black people coming, they'd be like, what the is this? What the What the This is the mic moved.
Oh, right, yeah.
Is this the... I'm sorry, I'm focused. And they were like, hey, racist ass white person, here's another racist ass white person here to warn you that, you know, Harriet Tubman is coming with her army full of bad bitches. And so then they would start shooting and shit, but by then Harriet Tubman was like, bitch, you're too late. Like, me and my people are already here. And guns back then was like just basic as them guns wasn't doing shit. So they would take their torches and be like, yeah, and go there, go in and just burn these plantations down and then dip. And then they would go again. Like, this raid, it was 25 miles along the Combahee River, and they're just like burning down, freeing slaves, getting on the boat, traveling again, avoiding the mines. And so at the end of the day, night, end of the raid, Harriet Tubman was like, God damn, I freed 750 slaves. Like, this was dope as hell. And her plan, it was the first military operation that was executed and led by an American woman, and it was planned by a former slave who could not read or write, who was only 5 feet tall, who was both black and a woman, and she still pulled this off. She helped the Union win the war. She freed like at least 1,000 slaves in her lifetime. She was just dope as hell. God, black people have been through so much. Black people have been through so much.
I don't know how to respond to that, except I agree.
Hello, I'm Sugarlyn Beard, and I'm about to take you through the story of Mata Hari.
Cheers.
Cheers! Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to tell you this story because she's kind of like the grandmother of the striptease.
Whoa.
She's an icon.
You have me a grandmother.
So our story begins in 1903 when a Dutch woman named Margaretha Zelle moves over to Paris. She's like, I'm in Paris, I have no money, what can I draw on? Oh my gosh, I spent 2 years in... Ooh, that's gross. I spent 2 years in Indonesia learning the dances, so she decides to make up a persona for herself. She becomes Mata Hari, the exotic Indonesian dancer. She's like, come to my show, you'll see what dances are like in the Far East. She does her first very big show in this big fancy theater. She's like performing in front of high society, and she's like tearing veil by veil, and underneath that, she's pretty naked. And it's like, oh shit, this is traditional? I can hang in for this. And she's like, peel this one off, and then peel this one off. And she's getting away with it because people are like, it's not a naughty thing. No, this is a cultural, educational experience. I need to watch this woman strip down to her nitties.
Nitties.
Nitties. It's like a titty, but covered a little bit. And with every veil that dropped, her audience loved her more and more. And with that, she became the #1 exotic dancer in all of Europe. Oh, I'm silly on my face.
Careful. Cheers.
Well. So, she's dancing, she's getting rich, and she was a lover. So she was taking a lot of these men to bed. They're giving her money and jewels and golds for this relationship. Not goals, golds.
Yeah. Give me goals, please.
Give me goals. Look at my nitties for goals. So, Mata Hari is performing in Berlin. It is 1914, July, and the war breaks out. And the German authorities come, and they're like, you love the French? Fuck you. We're taking your golds and your jewelry, and now you have nothing. And she's distraught, and she's like, fuck everybody. Hold up. Here it is. Wait a minute. Oh, no, shit. I'm so drunk. Hold on. You know what's so fucked up? Is that Mata Hari is approached by the Germans, and they're like, hey, Mata Hari, you're cool, you're sly. I got 20K francs for you to spy on the French for me. Mata Hari's sitting there, she's like, oh, this is a good deal, that's a lot of money. So she agrees. She's like, okay, shit. And he's like, your code name is H21. And she's like, done. Okay. Off he goes, and Mata Hari turns around and she pockets that cash, and she's like, fuck these people. No, they stole my shit. They owe me. She doesn't spy for the Germans. She just goes on this luxurious tour of Europe. She's living it up. She's spending like crazy, to the point that she gets the attention of this dude named Ledoux.
Ledoux?
Ledoux.
The dude?
Okay, hold on. So, oh shit. George Ledoux is part of the French Counter-Espionage Bureau. We need to find someone fucking, betraying France. We need to catch a spy. Ledoux wants to put somebody on trial for betraying France. Didn't matter who it was, so he goes after Mata Hari.
What a douchebag.
So Ledoux's out there and he ends up following Mata Hari kind of everywhere she goes for a while. Ledoux finally reaches out to her. He's like, hey, Mata Hari, what's up? Like, you don't know me, I don't really know you yet. I think you're cool. You should spy for us, the French. Mata Hari's like, yo, I don't trust nobody. I will do this for you, though, because I love French. I'm saying French.
French.
Oh my God, I wish I could do everything drunk. I really do. This is nice. Okay, she's like, I believe in your side of the war, and also I'll do it for cash money. Ledoux was like, absolutely, we'll give you a ton of cash. But Ledoux doesn't give her any spy tips. Anyway, so she has no idea how to spy, but Mata Hari takes it upon herself to seduce a German diplomat. She's like, you're hot, do you know? And he was like, oh my God, they're landing on the coast of Morocco! So then, she writes a very detailed letter to Ledoux. She has the intel. Germany troops are landing on the coast of Morocco. Ledoux takes all of this information and he uses it against her. He says, how the fuck does this bitch know all of this detailed information if she's not actually working for the Germans? So then, Mata Hari is arrested.
Oh.
Yeah. On Hold on, here it comes. On February 17th, 2017. Okay, so here we go. On February 1917, Mata Hari goes to trial. Ledoux, he's like, how could she have all this information? Like, the only way she could have this information is if she's working for the other side. She's not smart. She's a woman. Fuck this bitch. I'm scapegoating her. Whatever. And she's like, he's bullshitting everybody. He said that, all of that, and it was a lie. At the end of the day, the jury was like, this woman is immoral. Love affairs and having sexy dancing. We think this woman should die, I guess. They sentenced her to death by execution. Firing squad. Yeah, whoa, that was good. Do it again. Okay, Mata Hari is at her execution. At her execution, she looks at her lawyer, and then she looks at her priest. Those kisses. She looks them dead in her eye. Dead in their eye before she shot to death. And she did. Oh my God, Derek. The funny thing is, 4 days after Mata Hari's execution, Ledoux, this bitch, was arrested on espionage bullshit. Fuck that bitch. Ledoux was a spy upon spies. Ledoux was a lie upon lies. Ledoux was a real or not lies. It's not real. At the end of the day, she was never a traitor. She was an honest woman. Mata Hari was the first example of women stepping out and being progressive and saying like, yo, this is what I need. This is just who I am. She showed up earlier than anybody.
That was so good, Chug.
Shit. I love my life. I'm in the big leagues. I'm right here with you. We're too drunk. Has to be. Hold on, shit.
Hello. Hello. Today, we're gonna talk about the KKK. And the guy who took them down, Superman. In the southern United States in the 1940s, there was a pervasive sense of racism. Groups like the Ku Klux Klan began to gain prominence. They were doing really horrific stuff. Stetson Kennedy, he's just a regular Southern guy who's working as a door-to-door salesman in Georgia. And he thinks to himself, how can one guy make a difference? Stetson Kennedy made the decision, I am going to infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan, learn their secrets, and expose them. So he goes to a bar that he knew was populated with Klansmen. And this guy walks up to him and he says, hey, how you doing? I'm Slim. And Stetson Kennedy, he's playing coy at this time. He's like, oh, hi. You know, and they chat at the bar, and then eventually it comes around to talk of the KKK. And Slim says, well, you know, I'm a member of the Ku Klux Klan. And Stetson's like, oh, really? And the guy says, yeah, if you're like-minded, then we might have a place for you in our organization. And so Stetson Kennedy's like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. They pick him up one night. They drag him out to his final swearing-in ceremony. So the Klan's all like, ooh, this is all super secret, and if you do this, then you hold your hand up like this, and then you put your hand over your heart, and then you hold your hand out like this, and then you wave twice, and then you say, I believe in the tenets of the Klan. He becomes a full-fledged member of the Klan. Stetson Kennedy discovered the childish, dumb that these guys would do. They were dumb secrets, like, we're meeting at the Clavern at midnight. It was secrets that little kids would have if they had a fort. There was like, no girls allowed in the Clonclave. Like, the Clonclave, this is the Clonclave, and can we do the handshake? Do you want to do the handshake?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the handshake of the Ku Klux Klan. It's a left-handed, limp-wristed, like this.
Then we both know we hate.
We both know we hate black people.
So, I'm gonna lay on the floor. But I'm gonna be focused, I promise.
Can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Do you mind if I lay right here? Stetson Kennedy, he's walking down the street one day and sees a couple of kids playing spy. And he thinks, oh my God, these spy games that these little kids are playing look remarkably similar to the way that the Ku Klux Klan actually deals with life and the world around them. Stetson Kennedy found the people that were in charge of the Superman radio show, and he said, I know the secrets of the Ku Klux Klan. What do you guys think about a series of episodes where Superman takes down the Klan? I'm your guy. And the people at Superman said, sure, for 10 episodes of the Superman radio show, Superman fought the KKK.
Up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Superman. Superman battling valiantly against the Clan of the Fiery Cross. Jimmy Olsen protected by the power of Superman and his mighty might. I don't know. Careful, Jimmy. Don't touch that fiery cross. Aw, shucks, Mr. Ken. Whatever you say.
There was no YouTube. There was no podcasts. Everybody listened to the radio. As this was happening, Stetson Kennedy would call them and say, here are the new passwords that the KKK are using this week. The code word was Anglo. The password was American. The next week on the Superman show, Superman would show up and say, Anglo. And one of the bad guys would respond with, American. The kids of the Klansmen were playing Superman against the KKK. Following the broadcast of the Superman episodes, one of the heads of the Clavern said to the leader,
Sir, I cannot in good conscience continue as a member of this clavern when my own children are poking fun at the clan of the Fiery Cross.
Bless you.
Thank you. When Stetson Kennedy had taken the secrets of the KKK and made them public knowledge,
Bless you.
thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you. Thanks to Stetson Kennedy, the Klan was defeated. Nobody wanted to join. Stetson Kennedy made damn sure the shit that the Klan was pulling was viewed by the people of the United States as worthy of ridicule and, in so many words, stupid.